Most lamps are boring, so I decided to build my own with EVA foam. This project is part of us redecorating our bathroom to make it look like a magical underwater vault. As a maker, you often have to deal with your own or your customers' expectations to avoid disappointment. For example, I expected this project to be fast and easy, and I was disappointed in myself because I should have known better. This project was neither fast nor easy, but let's start at the beginning. First, I made some sketches for the lamp itself to define a nice looking design that fit our magical underwater world. I tried to keep the design simple, but still implement some intricate design elements that are reminiscent of the Victorian times. I used transparent parchment paper for this step, as it makes it very easy to define my final design by simply layering the paper on top of the previous rough sketch. Then I can simply copy and define the design over and over again over a few iterations. I built interactive props for live escape games and advertising agencies for a living, and one of the most important things when it comes to building props for customers is managing expectations and avoid disappointment. The best thing that you can do is under-promise and over-deliver. So I will just say this video is going to be mildly entertaining, and I hope you enjoyed a little bit. I planned on using the sketch that I made as a scale reference to build the lamp by using a compass and a pencil. I expected this to work flawlessly, but was disappointed to find that I did not consider the dimensions of my rough sketch at all. So I had to adjust for that on the fly by making the top and the bottom parts of the lamp slightly larger than the original sketch. Using the compass, I transferred the size of the circles to a sheet of EVA foam and cut the circle out with a sharpened box cutter. I then used a Dremel tool to sand down the edges and make the EVA foam circle as round as possible. Then I simply repeated this process to make each layer of the bottom part of the lamp. Some parts had to be tapered on one side to give the lamp its organic rounded shape. I glued all of the parts together using contact cement. This glue works by applying a thin layer of the glue on both parts. Once the glue is dry to the touch, you can simply press both parts together and it will adhere instantly. This stuff is super strong. It is usually used to glue shoes. After gluing the parts together, I will be using the rotary tool to sand the bottom part to shape. I don't want to get it perfectly round because this lamp is supposed to look old. It doesn't have to be perfectly round. One of my favorite methods to fix seams and smooth EVA foam is using foam clay. Just apply it and smooth it with some water and your fingers. I also add some water to the foam before applying the foam clay, just to make sure that it adheres properly. And then I just repeat the whole process for the top part of the lamp. Next I wanted to make the front design of the lamp, and this is where it got tricky. The method you see now is actually my third attempt at this. I expected the first attempt to work, but the result was very disappointing. I first tried to cut the design out of foam, but the design was too small and intricate for that. I then tried to cut the individual pieces and sand them to shape, but that didn't work either. My final try, and the one I went with, was this one, where I cut two straight thin pieces of foam, sanded them into shape, and finally used a heat gun to bend them into shape. And once the middle part was complete, I simply glued it all together. I also fixed the ugly seam on the back side with some foam clay, as you can see here. I obviously wanted the lantern to light up, so I added some LEDs to the backside of the lamp, threaded the cables through the top, and covered the LEDs with some LED EVA foam. This foam will let the light of the LEDs shine through. The LEDs will be controlled by an Arduino that I will add later. I will add some texture using this water texture paste. I applied it with a sponge to get an interesting texture. I sealed the entire lamp with white glue and started painting it. I first painted the entire lamp with a metal copper paint. This will be the base coat. I added some grime using a darker brown color, and then I added some rust with a brush. Copper rusts in a very beautiful teal color. I applied the rust and grime in areas that would normally accumulate rust, like in small nooks. You might be expecting to see how I made the tentacle, but I have to disappoint you. That will be in the next video. Now I expect you to subscribe, and I hope you don't disappoint me.